Pharrell Williams, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Thank you. And happy social distancing to you.
Thank you very much, my friend. This has been quite the year for many human beings, arguably the worst year for many, and for some, a year that many people have written off. Pharrell Williams isn't one of those people. You've said, I know it's 2020, I'm gonna stay at home as much as I can, but I'm gonna still do things, and do things you have. You have a new skin line, you have a new podcast and a podcast network. You've also got new music that you're working on, and then we've got some initiatives that are probably gonna change the face of how corporate America works. So let's start with the most important one, Rihanna's new album. I know everyone's waiting for the vaccine, but the other half of the country is waiting for Rihanna's new album. What can you tell us about it?
There's nothing I could say.
Damn it, Pharrell! I knew you were gonna say that to me. This interview is over.
Nah, man, because this funny because once like I get asked this question, then I feel like the other interviews that follow, they'll ask for more details of.
I feel you.
I'm just so not at liberty to say, but man, I can tell you that she's making some amazing music, and we're incredibly honored to be a part of that conversation.
Something I've always admired about you as a person is that, like, when you speak to be heard, and most of the time I find you listening. Tell me what Pharrell is doing in the podcast space. Why did you choose to jump into it, and what is the new network going to be about?
So we started out with Apple some years back, and just took a little break from it. And then when we came back, it was like, man, there's so many other ideas that I can't do or be on, and I'm not, quite frankly, not the right person for these things. I just wanted to like enlist really big personalities that could tell big and great stories for the network. And then the reason why we're back at it with OTHERtone for the show is, man, I've always seen my podcast experiences as crash courses into these other people's lives. So yeah. I don't want to have somebody on that I can't learn something from. Howard Stern's a genius. That's why he does what he does.
Right.
It's like the best, right? But for me, I use them as a opportunity and a platform for me to go to college, in that person's universe.
Truly one of the most impressive initiatives that I've seen Pharrell Williams working on, and I know you worked on this for a while, was your program to reward and inspire Black excellence. Talk me through what this initiative is and how you're hoping to inspire Black and brown kids and young adults to become the leaders and the visionaries of tomorrow.
In a nutshell, we don't have enough of a voice in our country because we don't own enough. And our dollar, our currency, the African American and African diaspora dollar stays in its community for 6 hours. Why? Because we don't own enough businesses to keep our money and currency circulating, right? So it's our theory that if we can find a way to galvanize as many Black entrepreneurs as possible, then all of a sudden the community, has proportionate access to education, proportionate access to healthcare, and proportionate access to representation and legislation. And so we felt like the best way to get that going was to launch these prizes with historic Black colleges and universities, HBCUs. We are less than 13%, in this country, and we're north of 30 million. But our influence, you would think we were half this country. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, when we start to have more ownership, we have more of a voice, and then we have more of the American pie, the pie chart. And that's literally what we want to do with Black Ambition. I'm like super excited because, man, these are the HBCUs. They need to be lifted. And I don't feel like the schools get the love and appreciation. The institutions, the Black institutions don't get that love.
Right.
Well, here's an opportunity for us to give them some limelight in this partnership.
There's also, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful movements that you've been spearheading, which has been the Juneteenth Pledge, where you've said, as Black Americans, for many, many, many decades, people have said, hey guys, why is Juneteenth not celebrated as a day when we can say that unanimously Black people in this country received their freedom? And some critics have obviously said, well, you've got 4th of July, and it's like, yeah, but for everyone to be free. You kicked off the Juneteenth Pledge. And you realized something really smart. You said, look, you may not get the government to initiate it, but most people work for a company, and so companies can make this a public holiday that is paid. How much progress have you made, and why do you think it's so important to do this?
Everything boils down to what we're buying, especially if COVID has not taught us anything beyond the fact that we haven't been selfless enough with each other and wearing our masks. It's also taught us that people are buying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so therefore, we have been more of a consumer base than anything else. And I think the smart companies are recognizing that. They know that the consumer base is paying attention, and they have opinions, and they vote, and they activate, if you will, with their dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So to see these companies come on and just jump in like that, that's just been great. I want to just tell you some of the people who have taken the pledge. It's Adidas, Nike, Levi's, Target.
Wow.
Walmart is coming. I'm gonna say that right now. Come on, Walmart. Come on, Walmart. Because it's important that the big behemoths, get involved.
Right. And I remember when we spoke about this a while ago, you were like, yo, man, we got to get your people involved. And I'm excited. We've been keeping it under wraps for a while. I was waiting for you to come on the show. But Viacom CBS, our parent company, so everything from Nickelodeon through to MTV, they're joining in. They've signed this pledge as well, the Juneteenth Pledge. So we're getting all the behemoths involved. And so I hope you keep on pushing, man. I'm glad that we can be a part of it. And I hope that we can get as many of these corporations together so that everyone in the country at some point goes like, all right, man, this is the day when we celebrate the promise of freedom that was denied from so many for so long. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And you guys, if you're paying attention out there, it's the JuneteenthPledge.com. You can go on. So, by the way, you don't have to be a big behemoth like what Trevor and I are talking about, because we want all the big guys too. But the small businesses, man, the thing is that I love 4th of July. I do. Red, white, and blue, burgers, hot dogs, chips, who doesn't love that? Fireworks, it's great. But my ancestors fought in that war when they were not free, and they fought in that war willingly. They wanted what should have just simply been their white brothers and sisters, but it was their masters at the time, for the most part. They wanted to see them have their independence. And the thing is if Juneteenth is the official day when all Americans were free, and shout to our, First Nations brothers and sisters, because they haven't been treated so well. But Juneteenth is pretty much when everybody was supposed to be free. So I feel like it's something that all Americans should be celebrating, right? Because by the way, we were set free in 1863, but, they didn't choose to acknowledge it until 1865. So you got to understand that it was long overdue then, and it's long overdue now.
I feel you there, man. Pharrell Williams, congratulations on everything that you are doing. Until I chat to you again, my friend, look after yourself. Stay grateful.
Thank you so much for everything, man. Everything that you're doing. It's awesome.
I appreciate you, my dude.
Love.